Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Happy Hour. We are so excited for another episode of Career Happy Hour where we get together and we relax, unwind, have a little bit of a drinky drink, and really learn some great nuggets that we can apply into our careers, into our businesses, and into our life, just in general. So, as you come on in and join the live, please drop in the comments your name, where you tuning in from, and then also let us know what are you sipping on with us at happy hour, because of course at happy hour it's no fun if you're not sipping on your favorite beverage. So make sure that as you come on in that you let us know your name, where are you tuning in from, and then what are you sipping on? And we will get started here in just a few moments. We want to give everyone a little bit of time to get the alert that we are live and to give them a time to come on in, and we will get started here in just a little bit. We see our early risers. Now, this is what I'm talking about. They have their alarm set and they are ready to go when we hit the live button. Kimiko in the house. Great job, Kimiko, by saying your name, because you know it doesn't always say the name when you drop the comments in there. So appreciate you, cuz. We have Crystal who is saying, "Heyo." That's just like Crystal. All that spirit and energy bundled up and just coming out and exuding in her comments. That's what I'm talking about. So we have some who are saying that we have, they're sipping on some water for now and a little herbal. So I'm wondering if that's Crystal. That sounds like Crystal, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, I have Khalees in the building. Khalees, you just made my heart skip a beat. Look, that just, woo, that's what I'm talking about. Support all up in here. Thank you so much for all of your support. You guys are just absolutely amazing. So we're going to go ahead and let's see if I can take this off the screen so that you can see me. Voila! Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Happy Hour, where we are creating a movement around here of ambitious, high frequency career professionals and entrepreneurs who are just really ready to up their game, to really be able to network with like-minded individuals. They're able to gather information and nuggets and to really be able to figure out what are some of those things that you can do to stay recruitable, stay visible, and stay profitable while all the while rocking your umph. Because you know, we're around here rocking umph. So that's what we want to make sure that we're doing, as well as normalizing earning six figures. And as you recall, six figures does not stop at $100,000. That's just the beginning. When we talk about normalizing six figures, we're talking about skyrocketing 200,000, 300,000, 900,000. Yes, all the way up until one digit shy of $1 million. And that is very, very possible. And that's what we want to make sure that we're normalizing. But does it take work? Absolutely. Does it take being a lifelong learner? You got it. And so that's what we're here for at Career Happy Hour, where we're really giving you those nuggets and bringing you guest co-hosts who can share with you their journey on how that line is not always A to B. There's a lot of zigzagging that goes along with A and B. So really appreciate all of you who have joined us. Let's see who else we have up in here. Lisa. Oh my gosh, Lisa, thank you. We are doing amazing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. As many of you saw in the promotions that we're going to talk about dancing tonight. Dancing, you know, with a career style twist. But as many of you who know me and here to support me, you know that I love to dance. If you have music going, a little bit of music, I am up, I'm moving, I'm shaking, I'm enjoying myself. And so I'm really excited about bringing you the guest co-host tonight, because that's actually how or the reason that I reached out to her to join as a guest co-host, because she had the most amazing dance moves with her kids on Instagram. And I was like, okay, I need to have her up in here as a guest co-host. So I want to bring to the stage Carmen. And just a little bit about Carmen. She's a wife, a mom, and an art teacher. She says that she is creatively living life inspired by grace in every moment. With a house full of boys, paint on her hands, and sweet days ahead, I would like to bring to the stage Miss Carmen, the lovely Carmen. How are you, lovely? How are you tonight?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me, Lashina. I'm doing really good. It's great to be here. This is fun.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe the journey that we've had to come to this place that we're actually co-hosting this show together.
Yeah.
It is just crazy. And I'm laughing. So you and I know what we're laughing about, but just to give the audience a little bit of a snippet, when I talk about your network is your net worth, I mean it. It is so important to network with individuals. And you never know where that investment of your time in networking with people will actually become dividends. And I think that that's what this is. This has become a dividend of how many years ago that we connected on some Facebook group where it was helping us learn the topic that we were learning, that we then connected on Instagram, and out of the blue, what happened?
You reached out to me and you were like, hey, do you want to be on my show? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not? And then we're prepping for the show and we got to talking and realized that we actually live in the same area. I know, right? And then just all these light bulbs and things started to pop off and up. I'm so sorry, even though we are live, I have a lot of children and this here. Yes, buddy. Yes.
Can we get a game? It's a caveman game. It's for you have there's two persons.
Okay, can you tell me later? Can you talk to Daddy?
Okay.
Thanks, buddy. Can you close the door? Okay. We'll talk about it later. Can you close the door? So
that bribery did not work very well. I don't know what bribery tools you use, but don't use that anymore.
I'm just like, you know what? We're just gonna keep rolling with this. So
that's right. Because that's the world that we're living in right now, with so many of us working from home. And how many I guess things on TV have we seen that's happened in real life? That's just our life right now. So it's so refreshing just to even see that happening, because it's a real thing. And you have how many kids?
So I actually have 4. We just had a little girl less than a year ago. So it has been a house full of boys until this past year. We gave birth to a little girl named Mila. And so Mila is our miracle. I love that. I can see some of the comments. Somebody was like, it's my kid. Yes, that's my kid. Like, they do not care. I can, yeah. And I really felt like I bribed everyone. Well, I did not, obviously.
No,
I got to work. I'm gonna have to learn from you. But I do. I have 4 kids, and I know it has been a major shift. I'm used to working outside of my home and then shifting to doing contract work and, trying to, that new balance is a whole other ball game. Just so different.
It is. And it's such a learning process, right? Once you do things and you think, oh, okay, well, I got this routine down, I have the calendar down, people know, everyone in the family knows where to go, and then it just explodes. And we have to pivot, just like everything that has happened in 2020.
Yeah.
And we just pivot and we just learn how to roll with it. One of the things that that we talk to our guest co-hosts about, that I want to ask you about, Carmen. But before I do you have your favorite beverage in hand? Because we have to do tradition here.
Yes. So it's not as fancy as yours, but it's definitely the coffee that I'm finally drinking earlier today.
But what kind of coffee?
Okay. I don't even know. It's probably Folgers. It's just good.
It's just good. Well, hey, whatever your favorite beverage is, that's what we bring to the table, so that we can make sure that we are staying, having our throats, our parched throats ready, and so that we can make sure that we're staying happy for happy hour. That's what happy hour is about. Yes. Let's see. Somebody in the audience says that they're sipping on some Riesling. Ready and sipping. So I love Riesling. So the question that I really like to talk to my guest co-hosts about is their journey in their career. And, you've shared a little bit about your current state of working in the house and, used to being outside of the house. Tell us a little bit about that journey for you. Where did you start your career, and how has it evolved over time?
Wow. So my career started, man, that's it. Like you just opened up.
Just opened it up. Yes, right? That's right.
Right. You got to go all the way back. But yeah, my career started, I went to Bible college, and that's where I met my husband.
Oh.
But I shifted my major to a psychology major because I didn't want to be boxed into ministry jobs. Mm-hmm. So I went the psych route, and then I ended up becoming a home-based counselor. So I worked with at-risk youth. My husband and I both graduated with psych degrees. He works in a wonderful organization that helped children that were at risk of either being taken out of their home or just really needed some daily, weekly support to work on behaviors and challenges. So then an opportunity opened up for me to work as a social worker. And I did that for almost 5 years. And I did the child protective services side. So like removals and high risk cases going to court, I did that. And then I switched to doing long-term work, which is working with families once they have the court orders and what they need to do to maintain stability in their home. And so shortly after I had our second son, Titus, it just was too much to try and navigate that. And the expectation I felt was I wasn't able to be with my own family, because when you do that type of work, you're really trying to make sure everybody else's home is stable. So we took a pivot, and I gracefully left that job. I love the people I worked with, but I went ahead and shifted out of that job, and I went into working, helping my husband in ministry. And so I did that part-time, and then I became an art teacher, a high school art teacher, part-time. Then it shifted to me teaching art K through 12 and a photography class for high schoolers. And then from that, this is my journey. And then from that, I added on helping my husband in ministry, teaching full-time, being a children's director at our church. And I loved that job. But all three of those shifted. And mind you, I underneath, just kind of in my general love, I've been blogging since my oldest son. So he'll be 9 this year. I've been blogging since he's been just, enjoying blogging, capturing moments with my family, different things that we do, way before blogging is what it is today. So still doing that kind of in the background. Have had some fun, made some fun connections with that. But then I shifted out of that because we really knew that God was calling us to a new season in our lives. So when we ended that time with our, which is my home church, but our previous church, we were doing babies all the way. So my husband was the next gen pastor. And so he oversaw babies all the way to high school. And I fit right in there as the children's director. And it was really awesome. He is out here now as a connections pastor. And as an opportunity for me, I was asked if I would, that's awesome. I was asked if I would do some contract work for marketing. So in between all of that, doing teaching and all this other stuff, one of my coworkers for my apologies, as you can hear can you hear my family in the back? Because I can hear them.
We can only hear you. That's the way that our audio works, is that we can only hear.
Can I live in your audio? I'm so sorry. Like this is the mom in me. I'm like, somebody in danger. What is going on? So I promise you, my husband is fully attentive. Everyone just gets louder when I disappear.
Yes.
So anyways, but in between that, one of my coworkers, because it is a large church, it's a fairly large church of 2,000 weekly attendees. But my coworker went on maternity leave. And so they had asked, hey, Carmen, you do digital, you do all this, would you do marketing? And that was kind of my introduction to marketing professionally, not just necessarily myself and my personal brand and working with people and helping them kind of spearhead into what they want to do. I really enjoyed it. I love the metrics. I love looking up. I was like, maybe. So, she came back. And so then she ended up shifting into starting her own business, which was wonderful. Well, we were getting ready to move. And I was asked, would you consider doing this remotely? We really loved what you did. Would you consider it? So I did. I did that contract up until I had my daughter. And then it just kind of started to spin into other people asking me, how do you kind of work in, how do you get a brand going? And I had enough time. And also that kind of worked with some other organizations while I was doing that contract. I was helping some other people get their organizations off the ground. And these are just kind of some tips that you can do, things that, tangibles that you can take away. And before I knew it, I just had quite a few people who were like, hey, can you help me work on my brand? Can you help me start something? Can you, and sometimes you struggle with the confidence. So I was like, I can help you, but I don't really know, even though I'm doing it and someone is confident enough and I see results in the quality that I'm doing, but I was like, I don't know if I really want to, offer like branding work to you, especially now it feels like everything's so saturated, right? Everyone's got a funnel, everyone's got a program, everyone can promise you that this is the exact thing you need for conversions and blah, 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 blah. So I just went ahead and I was like, I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing with my own brand. And if people need support, I will help them. And then eventually my husband was like, babe, I think you really need to look at making this a thing. So I went ahead and I recently, not too recently, but within the last year, I went ahead and launched just my brand support of helping other mom bloggers or women that really are passionate how to navigate that social media space. And also for those bloggers that hitting this weird curve of digital marketing. So that's my baby. That's my favorite, that's what I love. But in general, I have actually branched out to just working with several other organizations as they, just achieving their own goals and just working on what they want to do. So I do kind of both now.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. That's an amazing story. It really is. It's just so eye-opening and so many things that you mentioned. And I always love to unpack some of that. So while I'm unpacking some of that for the audience members, I would love to hear, have you ever had someone come to you and said, have you ever thought of, because that's what I heard you say, Carmen, is that a lot of times we're doing things just naturally. We're just doing it. But it's not until someone taps us on the shoulder that they say, "Hey, have you thought about that next level or expanding or doing this in addition to what you're doing?" So I would just love to hear from our audience members, how many of you have had that experience? Because I know I've had that experience. And it's really mind shifting because sometimes we're just in our own little world sometimes. And it takes someone from the outside looking in to really uncover the power that we really have inside of us, that we're just like, nah, it's all right. No, 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 no. I'm just gonna stay right here in my little hole. Don't, no, 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 no. But then it plants this seed in your head that you're like, oh, wait, they might have something. Okay, so real transparent moment. That is how Career Happy Hour started. Someone planted a seed in my head to say, hey, Lashina, you're talking about doing this for other people and helping them with their brand. How about you? And I'm like, no, not me. I'm not trying to really do that. But it planted that seed that made me think that, oh, well, maybe this is possible. And what are you saying, Dales? I've heard, have you ever thought about being a comedian? I walk away. The other thing, as those in the audience start to drop in, some of theirs. LaShawn actually made a comment too. She said, "Yep, I've heard that since 2014. Have you ever thought about being a life coach?" Wow, LaShawn, that's crazy. And then one of our viewers says, "I'm usually the one saying that to others." That's really powerful because when you have folks who, and I've done that myself as well. And what I've come to find out, that those individuals have what they call multiplier type of personalities, where you help people multiply themselves and their ability. So one of the other things that I heard you say, which I think is really interesting for people, not only those that are starting off their career or maybe still in college, but also those that are maybe on in their career, is that you decided your major not necessarily on what your interest level was at the time, but more of the long-term gain or limitations that might give you. And a lot of people don't think that strategically about their degree choices, but that's really smart, actually. Is there any guidance that you would give to, now that you've gone through that experience? Are you glad that you did that? As a recruiter, I definitely see how your degree can limit your career a lot of times. Because if you get a degree in, sometimes individuals will get a degree in, I don't know, a language. And how do you apply that degree in French to a real life job or career if you're not going to pursue something that's related to French? So are you happy that you did it that way?
I am. I feel like, college, I don't think is as promoted as much in the possibilities that you can have, whether it's networking, it's really connecting. I think that, college is a little undersold, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I definitely don't regret it, because I feel like having kind of a more broad degree allows me, if I want to take that, I can expand that into organizational psychology or whatever it is that I see for myself. I have a base at least.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I want to continue in counseling, I have a base. If I want to, whatever it is, I can continue from where I started. Versus, like you said, if you have a language or something very specific, it can be a challenge to connect with that, you know, and especially if you shift and want to do something different. You realize that you're really gifted. Yes, you love French, but you're really gifted in business,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or you're really gifted in broadcasting or communications or whatever it is. It can be a challenge to, how do I take what I put all this money and time and effort into? Seriously.
Money is the big thing, because how many have invested in education that they're still paying student loans on for years and decades later? Yes. It is so real.
Yes.
Very real. But I think that it's really encouraging to see that, you know, you made a smart move. But you're also doing something that's very different than, you know, what you necessarily got your degree in. You went down that path, but then you shifted and moved into something else. And sometimes that can be really, really difficult to do. Especially if you're trying to do it for a job where they give you a paycheck. But it sounds like you really leverage your support system, your network, to be able to look at other career opportunities. And there's so much value in that, because sometimes people, they just stay right where they are, and they think that they can transition careers without having some, you know, leveraging that support system. Do you feel like that is how you were able to make that shift?
I do. I think that having support from other people to think beyond, you know, I think that wise counsel is so needed, honestly. Like, if even as a college student, if you're not having good discussions with someone else about how you see your life and they're not challenging you as to kind of where do you want to be in a couple of years? Is this something that or like what you're learning? You've got a taste of this degree, of this skill set. Do you see yourself investing time into this for a long period of time? And it really was someone from the faculty that told me, they're like, hey, you know, you're headed in this direction, but you know, one, to save you time, right? If you switch your degree to this, you won't lose time. You may add like a semester or so, but you won't lose so much time, but that's going to open the door for you. And I think that that was such a pivotal conversation for me, you know, that made all of the difference and was so helpful because I wasn't thinking that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of, you know, when you're 19, 20 years old, you think of like, oh, I could do this forever. You know, for me, it was ministry. And I do, my heart is for ministry. My heart is, but I've also been able to mature and grow in what ministry looks like for me now. And so, but at 19, I was like, I'm totally be in church for forever, you know, you know, and I'm so thankful that somebody was like, Carmen, you about to make absolutely no money. You know, and not like, you know, everyone that is in ministry is poor, but you know, think beyond that. There's a lot of skill sets and there's a lot of richness in who you are. Tap into some of that other stuff, you know, and then allow that to go into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if that's your heart, it doesn't matter where you are. But do you want your degree in that? Do you want your resume to represent that? You know, just really process that. And I think that was so critical for me because I would have just gone down that road and missed so many other opportunities and so many other jobs that had given me skill sets that, you know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
they're invaluable.
Mm-hmm. And I think the other thing that I'll just mention, or, you know, to I think a lot of times people miss the opportunities that they could get visibility to because they don't necessarily volunteer their time. There's something about volunteering your time to a cause that's bigger and greater than you are that will sometimes give you these open doors that you never thought possible. So when people come and talk about being in job search mode or having a hard time finding a job or transitioning their career, one of the first things I ask them is, what volunteer work are you doing? And they're like, what does that have to do with me finding a job? It does.
Yeah. I don't think people leverage enough of, and even as someone who has employed other people or been on boards, or you really definitely want to invest your time. Truthfully, like you want to give of yourself before you ask for something in return.
Yes.
And that is such value. And I don't, unfortunately, especially with social media now and people, how they brand themselves, they give off, I think, a bit of this air of pay me, but they don't talk enough about all of the free that happened before they're now asking for the income.
Mm-hmm.
And so, especially newer generations look at that and they go, well, I need to start being paid and I need to be an entrepreneur. And I'm like, yes, absolutely, 100%. But what are you also sowing good seeds in and investing and giving your time and volunteering and just making good networking connections without asking for stuff in return?
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that even where I say college is a little undersold, because that's a network of quality ways you can volunteer, give your time, and it will yield you excellent. Like it'll yield you great networking results. It broadens it. And the people that really enjoy college or after they've graduated are the ones that I was just talking to one of our previous students about this. I said, not everyone wants to go to those career fairs and put on, the business outfits and right. All of us make the face. I do too. This is dumb.
I have had to work those, so I know that even better. I feel sorry for them having to go from table to table and say the same spiel over and over again. My heart goes out to them. We got to find a better way. But yes, go ahead.
Yes. But I told her, I said, as much as you may want to, mind you, this is a whole different, college is so different now. So, but as much as you want to enjoy and have fun, make sure you do some of that stuff. I said, because the people that have the job with their degree at the end of the 4-year experience are the very people that went and did that went and gave their time and signed up for an internship, or they sat and they practiced those skills, because when it came time to look for an actual job, or it came time to make a phone call or someone called them, it came from those type of experiences. Mm-hmm. It didn't come from you posted, and it's true. I talked to so many young people and so many of our previous students when we did youth ministry, they're like, I'm just going to post this picture and I'm going to tag so-and-so. And I'm like, that's great. That's awesome. What are the other strategies you have? What are the, when they want to call you for a Zoom conference, what are you going to say? And, I cannot agree with you more. It's so important to really expand yourself and give without expecting in return.
Yes. Yes. The power of what I call servant networking. We talk about servant leadership. I think there is so much to servant networking that, don't go into networking with this thought of, how can this person help me? Go into it, how can I help that other person? And it's just the energy that you put out about helping someone else, then naturally they in return they ask, well, how can I help you? And it becomes this circle of energy that it doesn't feel as if, that person is trying to use you for, whatever position you might have within a company. That's really, really huge on LinkedIn connections. I could do a whole course on that, on the way not to reach out to people on LinkedIn and the right way to reach out. It's a thing. It is really important on one, if you get a response, period. And then second, what type of response you get, and if it's helping you, get more towards, your ultimate goal, because we all have a goal at the end of the day. And sometimes, it's about putting yourself out there and helping others. And it sounds like that's what also helped you pivot into the marketing side, is that you were helping out, right?
Yeah.
Did you apply to this job, or did you?
No. Someone reached out to me and was like, hey, do you think that you could just cover, while this person's on maternity leave? And I was like, yeah, show me what needs to be done. Like, they knew that I already personally blogged and, kind of had my own setup. And he said, well, would you kind of look at this? And if they can onboard you, what do you think? And so we, had a meeting and discussed, and I looked at what needed to be done. And I was like, I think I can do this.
Love it, love it, love it. And then with your mom blog coaching, I want you to, give us a little bit more, insight there, and, about the branding piece that you help individuals with. How does that, start? What does it look like? How does someone even know that they need someone like you?
So my focus is really helping mom bloggers develop who they are as a brand, but more than just a brand, being able to see themselves in terms of reclaiming a lot of that time that they give. So mom blogging is so much more that you give of yourself, that you expose your family in whatever capacity that is. And so I really help them find a rhythm, help them to define who their audience is, and how to maximize the time to get the, per se, numbers or metrics or goals that they're trying to meet. And if they're really working with brand partnerships, or if their focus is that they're already connected with specific affiliates and how they want to work with them and to generate that income. And if they want to launch off and do their own type of courses or ebooks, really help them to set themselves up in such a way that that's possible. So that process really looks like defining who they're speaking to, but what is their passion? Because many times we feel like our why is more so the outcomes that we're looking for. And I realized that as I've gone through my own personal process, I thought to myself, how many other people have no idea that your why isn't spending more time with your kids? It isn't additional income. Your why is your passion. Who do you really want to speak to? Who do you really want to support? Who do you really want to serve? And so my goal is to really help mom bloggers and coach them through, what does that look like for you? But also, how can you reclaim some of this time? Because it takes a lot of time to plan content. It takes a lot of time, quality time, to get your kids to buy in to photos, just in general, your family. And then it also takes time to make that and not feel like you're stealing from the very reason why you're doing it in the first place. Not as many mom bloggers or women in general have access to, nannies or daycare just to drop their kids off for, hours at a time so they can get their thoughts together. You're really trying to juggle and, shuffle all of these things and find ways to kind of fire off at all cylinders and still be successful. So my goal is to help those women just really figure out what are the 2, 3 things I can do? How can I create stability in my brand? How can I create consistency? How can I stay authentic? Because if I am selling products, I don't want people to feel like they're being sold all of the time. And how do I generate income so that I'm not hustling as much? That I don't feel guilty, that I'm kind of not really making the breakfast and sitting down and having the time because I'm rushing to a call, or I'm rushing to, out the door to do this brand, or I'm dragging everybody with me because I need pictures for our, upcoming hotel stay or whatever it is. So that's really what I do. That's the process. And it's really tailored to each mom. And that's probably what I love most, is that one-on-one time, is being able to hear their heart. How can I support you? How can we build your schedule in such a way that you don't feel like you're missing the very things that you love, which is your family? So that's what that is.
Wow, that's really some great nuggets. Like one of our viewers says, this is gold. It's really you are dropping golden nuggets around here, Carmen. This is so great, because I think, you're saying what so many of us are thinking, have thought, and we just, sometimes you just don't know. And that's where having someone who's been through it can really help you navigate, and to, not feel so overwhelmed in that piece of it. And with your content, I told you, I love how, you put your family out there. And that's where, the dancing piece of, what we talked about, because I told you that one video where you were dancing with it had to have been the baby. It was a baby, right? And she was just hanging on for dear life while you were just moving and grooving. And she almost has like this deer in headlight, but then, like, what is my mama doing? Like, I can't say that, right? Even if they don't say it out loud, they're like, why are you embarrassing me like this? But then the smiles that they have on their face, it's just this pride that you can see beaming from them. And so when we talk about branding and we talk about social media, now that's the way you've decided to brand yourself. Do you think that's the way that you must go, that you have to go? What are your thoughts there?
I think that you don't need to go any specific way. I think that you can brand yourself, and it doesn't have to include your kids. Doesn't even have to include your home life necessarily, but your brand needs to match the audience that you're trying to connect with. And I think that your brand needs to, what I've learned is your brand needs to be as authentic as possible, that you enjoy what you're doing. So if you're going to brand, for me, I love my kids. I do. That's the reason why I started my blog. That's the reason why I wanted one day for my personal brand that I have. My goal is that my kids look back and they go, this was an amazing, like, this is exactly what it was. Mm-hmm. Good, bad, and different. This was us. And I'm so glad that my mom captured this. Mm-hmm. And I think that that's the biggest thing, is whatever it is, whatever that brand is, it really should be true to who you are. Mm-hmm. That when you're off screen, so, for me, the same way that I am on the brand as much as possible with, there are specific boundaries. Like, I don't post about, I don't post my kids like angry or, like snotty noses and crying. I don't post fits. There's specific things I don't post about my kids, because I understand that one day they will look back at that, and those are vulnerable moments. And they need to be able to have a say if they want that. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you want to make sure, like, I know that for me, what you see here, the snippets that are here, those are actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
For, if you are for many other mom bloggers, like their brand is, they love travel and they love to be luxurious and I, and me, I would love that, like I would love to be that mom blogger that's like, yes, we're going to the Four Seasons. Unfortunately, as you guys could see, I'm bartering with my child about like, can you please leave the room? I'm not buying another game. Like that's the type of mom blogger I am. So I'm not going to talk to you, about. Also, you want to be very careful that your audience is able to connect with whatever brand you're establishing.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I'm not going to sell you something that I myself have not purchased. And I think that has also gotten a lot of brands in trouble, not just mom bloggers. I think just brands in general whether it's pay or the connections or whatever it is, you start selling things or you start promoting stuff that also kind of ties your hands, but also doesn't, like 1% of your audience may purchase that or may be able to that's accessible to them. So I always encourage people, if you are branding, make sure that brand is true, because when world, social, society things shift and change, you still want to be able to have the ability to speak, and I think that that's also an issue now that's happening for a lot of influencers, is you've tied yourself up in so many ways with other people or audiences that you don't even feel confident enough to speak on social issues that are really important, that, whether they affect you, and I say that in quotes, because it affects everybody, but however they affect you, or you want to have that room that the people, that you're speaking to, that regardless, they can connect with, and even if they disagree, they respect you enough and they trust your voice enough to know that, hey, I don't agree with you, but I'm okay. And I'm still here for the community and for the content and everything else that you're bringing. Because I know things that I say do not set well with everybody in my audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. And there's something about having that level of respect or the ability to agree to disagree. That's okay. But at the end of the day, you do want it to be your authentic self. And, that's something that I think we're continuing to learn over time, is to be able to stand up and use our voices and our platforms to stand up for some of the social things that are going on in the world. I know that I'm continuing to learn that myself, and I think a lot of us are in that space of continuing to learn that it's not just about those things you're not supposed to talk about anymore, to know we do need to talk about it, and we can do it in a respectful way. And I think that's why I really love the topic that we chose about dance like no one's watching, because one, I just think that that's what your brand exudes to me, is that you just dance without not care. You do care, but that you just do it, and it doesn't matter who's watching. Is that intentional, you feel like? Or how can people learn from being able to dance without worrying about people watching?
Man, I think that, because I'm laughing at myself in that particular video that you reference. And I really did that on just kind of a whim, because I was tired of looking at all the TikTok dances. And I was like, this is not how people dance. Like, it's not how I dance. Like, if y'all go to the club, seriously, and I'm not, I am saved. I'm not that saved enough to not reference that. Like, seriously, if I went to the club, like, I hope nobody is coming over here with these weird TikTok dancing things. Like, I'm gonna need somebody to really work these moves. And it just did it with her. And I remember my husband was dancing actually off to the side. So he's like, what are you doing? I was like, babe, I'm making a video real quick. And he's like, okay, and so we, piece it together. But I think what I could really encourage people is at the end of the day, are you enjoying what you're doing? Are you enjoying the content that you're putting out? And for me, I realized that when I stopped stressing about metrics and numbers and am I getting enough blog views and who's staying, who's not staying, who's, all of that type of stuff that other side of blogging or branding or marketing, everyone that is in that industry knows, like you send out reports all the time, are you converting? Are you whatever you're doing? But when I personally was just like, you know what? I'm going to enjoy, because I feel like I'm enjoying so much more of my life off screen, and I'm curating in these tiny little boxes what I think people should see or what I think they're interested in. And when you let that go and you can merge the two, that I enjoy and the people that want to be here, awesome. Because if I can convert in all terms, but truthfully, if I can help 10 people out of my 100, that's a great conversion rate. If I can help, however you want to relate that, but if those people can really connect with my content and they grow from that, is that better growth than me having 100,000 followers that I can only get 200 people interested in what I'm doing, or 10 people only seem to connect with the content? I have the volume, but I don't really have the engagement. I don't have the buy-in. And I'm not enjoying it because I'm trying to maintain now volume. And so if you are really struggling with your own brand or unsure of how to connect, what to do, I really want to encourage you. What is bringing you joy? What are some challenges or things that you've walked through? And it doesn't even have to be fully successfully, but that you've made it through. And you can say like, hey, I went through this really tough situation in life and I'm better for it. And this is my life today. I was homeless as a teen, and now I know how to manage my finances. And I may not have the biggest mansion on the block, but I own my home. And to be able to take someone from that, that's a niche right there. That's helping somebody that didn't have any finances to now moving. And that's something you're also passionate about because it's a part of you and it's part of your story. So I think dancing like nobody's watching really looks like enjoying what are you bringing to the table that nobody else could, that's a part of who you are. Lashina, like you mentioned, you love dancing. I dance all the time. And as I was looking at myself and kind of who am I reflecting online and what kind of footprint am I leaving, I realized that there were some pieces I was omitting because I wasn't sure if that was like for the audience I was trying to pursue. And when you start to remove that and just be yourself, you realize that there's this whole other community that is very much so very similar to you. There's lots of people that may not post it, but they feel more like, hey, you dance with your kids a lot. I'm like, yeah, I sing random songs to my kids. We make up songs, make up little rap moves. We break dance in the kitchen, and there's a big piece of me that was like, if I'm leaving some of this legacy for my kids online, those are major parts that I don't have recorded. Mind you, there's balance, right? Like I'm not going to record every single moment. But here's some of that fun stuff. Here's some of that. It doesn't have to have a great filter on it. It doesn't have to, this is what we are. This is who we are. Whatever that brand is for you, I encourage you to start tapping into those pieces that you don't feel are marketable, because not everything that is marketable, like the things that we don't feel are marketable are actually some of the best parts of who we are.
That's really good. Yes. yes. That is, and that's part of those things that I coach with career branding. So you're talking about, in the space of, being an influencer and being a a mom blogger. And for some of our audience, I know that that may not necessarily be their area of passion, but if you think about it from your career brand perspective, that is a lot of where individuals are really able to have their digital footprint. It could be, just sharing about about a, a, a course that you just took, or a networking event that you just attended, or just this nugget that you were able to receive from something that you learned online. Just being able to share that, to you it feels as if, oh, I don't want to gloat, I don't want to be pompous. No, you are helping other people out there to say, oh, I didn't know about that. Well, let me check that out. Let me Google that a little bit. And it just always helps to put a visual aid to it, which is you as your brand. It could be a picture of a book. Just like one of our audience viewers mentioned that about when I said that about multipliers. That's a book. Like I have that book somewhere around here, but it's called Multipliers. That is an amazing book. Like being able to just share some of those nuggets for your own career brand is so, so key for just not you, but you're helping others. If you think about it that way, then it doesn't feel so self-centered. But at the same time, you're building your brand, because that's when people, like I did, tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, what about this panel conference that I'm doing to 20,000 people? I'm not there yet, but I'm working on it. I'm putting it out in the universe. But it could be that's what happens to you by you just putting out what represents your brand, that you can be asked to be on other platforms. So, Carmen, I can't. This hour always flies by. I'm telling you. Can you believe it? I know you've had the screaming kids in the background, and they're probably clawing at the door, but that's okay. I know that you have so much more information to unpack, and I know that you also have some a giveaway for our audience. And I have your social media handle that's on the ticker at the bottom. So please, everyone, go out and follow Carmen. I would love to hear also the background of Grace Woven. Is it?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to hear that if you have time along with your giveaway.
Well, the giveaway is a social media audit. So this is me fully looking at whatever social media channel that you choose, because there's a lot going on digitally now, and a lot of word and verbiage that has drastically shifted and changed because digital marketing is such a big thing right now. And this is an opportunity for me to sit with you, do a one-on-one, talk about what are your goals for this channel? What would you like to do? Give you at least, just a full set of tangibles, of takeaways that you can actually put into practice. A few great captions, since I love copywriting so, so much, and really get you on your way to just making that channel or, network area the best as possible. So that is what the giveaway is. But Grace Woven Co. was created because I really love connecting. So my brand itself is Graciously Woven, and that was how I feel like grace has been woven into every area of my life, but also how we are woven just from different generations of knowledge and connections with different people. And that is what I feel like my life, that's the art teacher in me, is just a tapestry, just this beautiful woven tapestry of connections, of moments like this with you, Lashina, where God has just been super gracious to me and helped me connect to the right people, and just open doors that I could not ever imagine would be open to me. So gracewoven.co is just extending that out and keeping the, woven moments going.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I love the poetry in that. I just love all of that. So for the free giveaway, which you are so gracious to give to our audience, for those that would like to get in the drawing for the free giveaway, put hashtag dance. hashtag dance in the comments. And for those in the replay, you can also play along. We'll look at all of the comments by Friday and then pick a winner with the hashtag dance. So really appreciate all of our viewers who I already see some hashtag dance in the chat. So I love it. Thank you, Carmen, so much for joining us tonight. You have had so many great nuggets that you've shared with us. We really appreciate you sharing your story and your transparency and your cameo appearance from your son. To show that this is real life right now. And I really appreciate it. We, as a society, it just feels as if we're not so stuffy anymore, where it's just like you gotta be in this suit and tie, and you can't have this happening in the background. And it's like, okay, relax. We all human. we still are professional. We're still able to get things done and just relax. So I'm kind of loving some of that's going on.
Yeah, it's nice. It's starting to kind of level things out in a good way.
It really, really is. Well, Carmen, again, so appreciate you stopping through. It's been an amazing time, and we must do it again. What you think?
I completely agree. Hands down. I won't be drinking coffee then, but yes, hands down.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. Really appreciate you. And we really appreciate all of our guests that have come in, our viewers from YouTube, from Facebook. You guys are so amazing. Your engagement is amazing. Your energy is amazing. And we really want to continue to bring you value that you are able to immediately take away, apply it in your life, apply it into your career, apply it into your business. So we really appreciate you tuning in again. For those in the replay, please make sure you do hashtag replay, because we really appreciate you even being able to drop in on the replay, even though you might not be able to be with us live. So this is the end of another Career Happy Hour. It's been so amazing. I am Lashina Recruitalina, your six-figure career brand coach. I am here to help you stay recruitable, visible, and profitable so that you can make sure that you are rocking your umph. I am absolutely obsessed with your success. And that's what our movement at Career Happy Hour is all about, and making sure that we normalize six figures. So please don't keep it to yourself. Make sure that you are spreading the word everywhere you can. Post it, comment on it, share it with your network, share it with your friends and family. Let them know to join us at Career Happy Hour, because we're going to continue to bring you value and lots of great guest co-hosts and lots of great topics. So until next week, have a wonderful and amazing rest of the week. Take care.